Good morning, everybody, and welcome. We welcome today a speaker who is very well known to us here at the Vedanta Society of New York, Swami Satyamayananda ji. We had the good fortune of welcoming Swamiji as guest minister in 2019 for 6 weeks while Swami Sarvapriyananda was at Harvard. And we loved having him here. Swami Satyamayananda is the president and minister in charge of the Vedanta Society of Western Washington. Swamiji first joined the Ramakrishna Order at Advaita Ashrama, Kolkata, India in 1988, and is an initiated disciple of revered Swami Bhuteshananda, the 12th president of the order. He served in various capacities at Advaita Ashrama, and in 2008, he joined the Probationers Training Centre at Belur Math as an Acharya. In 2010, the Swami was posted to Advaita Ashrama Mayavati to serve as editor of Prabhupada Bharata, or Awakened India, an English-language magazine of the Ramakrishna Order started by Swami Vivekananda in 1896. In 2014, he was appointed head of the Ramakrishna Mission Ashrama in Kanpur, India, and in 2018, he came to the United States, where he joined the Vedanta Society of Southern California as assistant minister. In 2022, he was assigned to the Vedanta Society of Western Washington, Seattle. The title of his talk today is Mystery of Divine Incarnations. Swamiji, welcome.
Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine avatar varishtaya Ramakrishna te namaha. Salutations to Bhagwan Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all dharmas and who establishes all dharmas. He who is the best of the avatars. Thank you, Diane, for the kind words, and it was nice to meet some of the old friends after 6 years. New York is always a delightful place. Well, for me at least. Because this city hosted such great souls of such magnitude, just it's incomprehensible to our ordinary intellect. Swami Vivekananda, Swami Abhedananda, Swami Turiyananda, Swami Shardananda, and Swami Trigunatitananda. I mean, the galaxy was here. And that's why I think till the end of these long spiritual traditions, New York will always be there and remembered. For that, the people of the world will be ever grateful. So here we are in New York, and as Diane mentions, an old friend, we have kept in touch infrequently, but we were there. The mystery of divine incarnations, and everybody likes mysteries. You know why? Life itself is mysterious. And that's the fun part of it. If it was an open and closed case, we wouldn't be even looking for answers. But an avatar comes not just as a mysterious phenomena, but to give us a glimpse into not only an avatar's descent, that's what it technically means, but to give us a glimpse into what existence is, and most importantly, what we are. The avatar has fascinated religions of the world. Every religion has dealt with it. Hinduism, from the very beginnings, there were some special souls that were shockingly super humans. That's a better way. And they try to deal with it. The earliest doctrines were those merged in nature. It was called the Prakriti Laya Purushas. There's a doctrine that people, highly evolved souls, instead of merging into final liberation, they stay their steps. And for the time being, merge in nature, called Prakriti. And they emerge out in the next cycle as world leaders or governors, because they know the secrets of nature at its fundamental level. They know all the powers and they can manipulate those powers. They were also called later the Adhikaraka Purushas, the ones who had authority, because they spoke with authority. And that is a distinguishing feature of incarnations. Take incarnations out, and religion is just an empty shell. They dominate the scriptures, they dominate religions, they dominate everything in religion. The theology, the philosophy, the ethics, the morality, everything. Then they dominate the arts and the sciences and the music and the dance. Everything has evolved, keeping an avatar as a central focus. The mystery is, how does the infinite become the finite? And that every philosophy has tried to answer this question, and it will persist till the very end of time. The very idea that the infinite becomes a finite is contradictory. If it does, it will lose its status as infinite. How does it? Is it compressed, or what happens? Is it broken up in parts? Infinite cannot be compressed or broken up in parts, and that will militate against the very idea of infinity. And yet, it does seem to happen. Sri Ramakrishna says, I saw Satchidananda come out of this body and say, I incarnate in every age. Now note the words, I saw Satchidananda. You in New York are familiar with these terms. I don't need to elaborate. So that's the reality. Saying incarnates in every age. That means it's not a one-time affair. It has been a continuous mystery that has been shrouded in mystery and in mystery, and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. So we have this incarnation. Swami Vivekananda is very clear. You can know the reality of God only through an incarnation. You may try, and people have been trying, but holding on to an incarnation, it becomes much easier. And the funny side of the picture is, you begin with an incarnation or an idea of a personal God. You reach the very crest of spirituality, and then there's a reset. You come back from where you started. In every saint or every realized so-called souls, after the highest, they have tremendous veneration for the personal God. So we don't need to dismiss it because we've seen something of what is called the absolute. As Sri Ramakrishna says, the absolute and the relative are of the same nature. Another aspect is saying, I incarnate in every age. It means only one thing, that avatars also evolve. If everything evolves, if Wallace and Darwin said everything evolves, which even the old Sankhya philosophers spoke about evolution as Satkaryavad, everything evolves, you, me, everything. Souls evolve, the world evolves, situations evolve, and so then avatar also evolves. That's a nice thing, because if it happens once, and whatever happens once has to be repeated, otherwise it's going to be unnatural. There will be claims, and like in Christianity they've got just one. We have a plethora. The more the merrier. Yes, why stick to one? These people don't like variations. Does an incarnation evolve, change? The message does. Adapted to the growing needs of that age. So we've got one part of the mystery tied up. Another thing is, in the scriptures, you get a host of so-called designations of an avatar. And it's strange that we have partial, we have full, we have a part. And there are more than 20 designations. Sometimes this God has descended, sometimes that God has descended. It's just one God, according to the needs. So it's not just the one principal avatar incarnating, but there seems to be other incarnations also. And the strangest thing is, at times they come together. We've seen it in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, we've seen it in the lives of other incarnations too. They come with tremendous powers. The disciples, they come as disciples or co-workers, and they catch the first rush of the divine incarnation's powers and then slowly let it trickle down to us. They break the very force of that and let it down to us. So the Bhagavatam says the incarnations are innumerable. Thank God for that. So we don't have any problems with this. Shankaracharya, in his study of the Gita, in the introduction itself, it's a beautiful passage. But he says, that incarnation, endowed with knowledge, sovereignty, power, strength, valor, and formidability, exercises his control over his own Maya, which naturally belongs to him, Vishnu, and is as if born. Jata eva, lokanugram kurvaiva lakshate, as if is born. But that is a doctrine of an avatar from the standpoint of non-dualism. And the entire commentary on the Bhagavad Gita is an elaboration of his opening notes in the introduction. Okay. And that is difficult for a dualist to stomach. What do you mean, as if? As if God, as if he comes. Yes. But we forget that non-dualism also speaks about the world is as if, and the souls are as if. We just zero in on, an incarnation is as if, but everything is as if. So it makes perfect sense to have something like this. Because the Bhagavad Gita itself says, though I am birthless, undecaying, and the Lord of all beings, still by subjugating my nature, Prakriti, I take birth by means of my own Maya. Is one of my favorite verses, which my guru used to, in some of his talks he used to, Ajopi san avyayatma, etc. He also says, many lives of yours, Arjuna, have passed, including mine. You do not know them. I know all of them. So here it is. So it's a question of things are evolving and evolving. Now, when we come down to what an avatar does, first is he energizes everything. Doesn't look like kind of things. Yes, a spiritual rejuvenation takes place. There are claims, and remember, whenever there's claims in any religion, run away from it. Yes. And take for instance, there are a couple of incarnations of Jesus Christ. Good for them, even now, today. These are claims. But what is an avatar? Swami Vivekananda explains, like when we are born, we run through a whole evolutionary history. If you see the fetus, it's something like that. The child is born and the first child is like a savage. You can see that. The cute little savages. Swami Vivekananda says, they'll crush the butterfly under the feet. We run through the entire stages of human evolutionary history, and then we come and then we push it, try to push it collectively further. And we all are doing that. Running through the entire history. You just cannot drop out of the sky, sorry. Including your body. People ask me, how old are you? I said 13.8 billion years. What? That's the age of the universe. That's what you are. And people are surprised. They read what the astronomers, astrologers say, and then they don't apply it here. It's the same material. Those stars had to die so that you will be born. Oh, the famous astronomer says that. You are ancient and you suddenly feel, oh, I'm so new. What? You've been coming here innumerable times. And this comes, there is something that's hiding it, this knowledge from us. Well, if you know, well. So, every one of us runs through the entire gamut of human history, evolutionary history in all forms. Whether it's biological or physical or whatever, we come to the end. And that is where we stop. When an avatar is born, he or she also runs through the entire gamut of evolutionary history and goes to the very end, the future, and shows us where humanity is going to reach. Maybe after 500,000, maybe 2 million, maybe 5 million, we don't know. But he'll show the past, present, and the future. That makes an avatar the ideal, the icon. That is the one thing that we need to embody. So much for your embodiment. And people say, Swami, I'm feeling so lonely. I'm feeling so unloved. Look at your own history. And you'll be amazed at yourself. You might go running around dancing. If you knew what you... And if you scratch the surface of your mind, this is not the mind that they're going to do anything for you, okay? For spirituality at least. You're just on the surface of things. You scratch the surface and look down. You are heir to innumerable dimensions within. You're not aware of it. Our brain is not designed, this consciousness is not designed to understand the depths. Just impossible. Like you say, okay, I was asking Jim this morning, what's the population of New York City? Oh, 8.5 and plus, etc. For me, it's just a kind of a statistic. A brain can't comprehend anything more than 10,000. Oh. There's an emotional response to 10,000. A little more if you're brainy. But after that, there's no emotional response. It's just a statistic, just a number. So, this awareness, and you make such a big thing of your awareness. Sorry, Vedanta just dismisses that as ignorant awareness. Can't get anything out of this. It has to be distilled. It has to be purified. It has to be concentrated. Then you have a key. Okay. So, again, the avatar lives the life of humanity. He lives the life of your, mine, and the future humanity also. He lived the life of the past humanity, the present humanity, and the future humanity. That is what an avatar does. Holy Mother says, oh, I think Sri Ramakrishna came to eat some rasgullas and dance about it. When you read between the lines, then you understand what was that he did. And the impact is going to last till his ideals are actualized. It's going to be there for all times. So much for an avatar. So, coming down to a little less philosophic things, another indication of an avatar is, Swamiji says, he cancels the doom of humanity. It's called the Kapala Mochana. Kapala is this forehead. People can read the forehead. That's an easier way than to reading palms and your souls, etc. And Mochana is to clean, to wipe clean. So Swami Vivekananda translated, he wipes the doom of people. So that is another mission of an avatar. He also says, Ami Forasdanga, that is, I am the French Quarter. There was, in India, there were a lot of Western powers vying for control. Denmark came, and the Dutch comes, and then the British and the Spanish and the Portuguese and the French, and they were having a slugfest there. Well, we were keeping watching. Hey, what's this? So they were having a great time there. So there were some revolutionaries in the British Quarter. They used to do something and should run to the French Quarter. And the French Quarter, the French laws, and the French were not going to let them go. So they used to be scot-free. So you do whatever you want, Sri Ramakrishna says. You come to me and you'll be free. So the problem, I've done so many mistakes. Oh, that's a good thing that you did all those mistakes. At least now you understand that you are finally vulnerable, weak, and human. Now come to me. And all those things not going to catch you. So he's a Farashtanga, he's saying. So that was a nice... So an avatar descends. Why? For us to ascend. What is it comes, and so what? Going to raise the human mind. That's what. You also notice that whenever an avatar comes, wherever, he becomes what is called Archana Murti, a worshipful form, a form that is worshipped. It's subconscious. The idea of worship is formalized later, but it's very innate in us. And we look at that image, the icon, and we feel a kind of idea of the sacred grips us. Becomes that. Every avatar becomes a worshipful form. An avatar also, as I say, is a door to infinity. As Sri Ramakrishna said, he said, so like a kind of hole in the wall. You can see the other side. He also, or she also, I'm sorry about this misgendering and gendering and all that. You people are a little sensitive, I know. Including me, of course, but in old habits. Becomes a Ishta Devata, a form that is not only worship, but is the god of this age, a chosen deity. And he looks at his picture and saying, this form will be worshipped in every home as time passes by. Yeah. It's inevitable. He will be worshipped. It has to be worshipped. And so, what does an avatar do, etc.? For the mundane, let's put it like this. It starts a new religious tradition. You find it in Christianity, you'll find it in Buddhism, you'll find it in Jainism, you'll find it everywhere. That in Islam there's no concept of an incarnation. It's kind of a Paigambar, prophet. Okay. That's the reason why I kind of... a new religious tradition has begun. I said, brings along some associates, kind of a rehashed from the past. He looks at Swami Shardananda and Swami Ramakrishna Order. Oh, they were the companions of Christ in the previous incarnation. Oh, he was Arjuna. Oh, he was this, he was that. Wow, what's this? What's happening here? It looks like the whole old team has returned back. Huh. Hey, there's a football match there. Come on, let's go. An avatar also, every avatar in fact, they say, I come not to destroy but to fulfill. All the old scriptures, not one incarnation comes and contradicts old scriptures, old teachings. Never. It doesn't happen. And if it does, remember that there's something called fake there. We used to read all these tales from the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and all these mythology. Today we have a sense, we are very rational. We want to have a rational approach to God. There's no rationality. And if it is, there's just a smattering of it. We are generally, we understand this world through mythology. And that's why when you go and watch Superman or Batman and all these things, you enjoy it. Why? Is there any rationality in that? You like Mickey Mouse and all. What? What's this? Your very thought processes are mythological, and it cannot be otherwise. So we don't need to dismiss it. Oh, it's all myth. It's all myth. It's all lies. No. That an avatar establishes and re-authenticates all the old mythologies also. So it's as I said, it's a kind of a constant evolution. There has to be continuity. If you come today and say, oh, I have got enlightenment, I look at you and say, I'll try to see the continuity, the missing links, the thread. Something just doesn't come out of the skies. Get this out of your head. You have worked for it. And not only you, others also have worked for your enlightenment. So you will have to see the entire length, the hidden factors. And one of those factors is there is a tradition, and you must be within that tradition. Because everything is not in books. I'm sorry to disappoint some. Hardly anything is in the books. Oh, we have read this book, we have read that book, and read books. Keep on reading, I tell them. Keep on reading. And after that, keep on meditating. Because 90%, according to me, is not in books. Sri Ramakrishna says, the almanac predicts the rainfall for so and so a year. Go and squeeze that almanac, you won't get a drop of water. So I've read this book and that book. In India we have this Yata Kharascha Chandana Bhara. An ass carries a load of sandalwood on his back, but he knows only the weight. He does not know the value of sandalwood. So along with reading, one must be able to meditate. And meditate according to the past masters, those who have taught us those techniques. It's nothing but it's a line of least resistance to quicken your spiritual progress. So then Avatar comes and powers all paths to liberation. There's no favoritism here. Oh, I'm here only for this. People think, Sri Ramakrishna was only Advaita. No, Sri Ramakrishna, they will say, the dualist also, and the qualified non-dualist also. And not only that, the spirituality, the real spirituality, not having some kind of sensations in their body or seeing something, is inexhaustible. Inexhaustible. Once your mind becomes a spiritual mind, through spiritual disciplines, then you get a glimpse of it. Even, I don't know if anybody has said it, I know everything about the spiritual world. Nah, it can't be. There are zillion types of experiences there, all waiting for you. You'll take just a little of it, enough to free you. So we tend to think like, oh, this is my path, is the best path and the only path. Nah. There are plenty of it. And this is one of the reasons why never say any religion is useless. It has its anchor in the spiritual realm. And an avatar comes and it authenticates everything. Yes. In the seen realm, in the unseen realm as well. So while in their physical form, now this physical form also is a kind of a, the other day I was talking to someone saying, Sri Ramakrishna, his body is not material. And I like that word material. It just happened yesterday. Yes. And that's the reason why Sri Ramakrishna's body in the Vespers hymn is described by Swami Vivekananda as his body made of condensed consciousness. Chid Ghana Kai. We are seeing a condensed consciousness as material. Who's to be blamed? All of us. We don't see that. Of course, that friend was saying, Sri Ramakrishna, when he was about to be photographed, the cameraman kind of just tried to straighten his chin and his whole body lifted. What is matter then? Our concepts of matter itself is dismissed. There is something more there. An avatar also awakens, as it were, all the old gods and goddesses, including the sacred places. If he or she can't physically go to these places, the associates do go. And all these temples and churches and synagogues and mosques, they're enlivened. It's always there. It's a kind of a wave of spirituality sweeps over the land. Now, how do you describe an avatar? Bhairavi Brahmani, one of his teachers who taught him the tantras and made him go through these difficult disciplines, she saw signs of this great bhava, it's called a Mahabhava, this great spiritual upsurge of spirituality, which the scriptures say cannot be contained in ordinary bodies. People come to me saying, Swami, my Kundalini is awakened. I said, oh. Yes, the snake went creeping and crawling. But I said, there's no snake. What? I've seen pictures of that. You're forgetting that symbology. There's no snake. Oh. A little of it is enough to shake you. Yeah, Sri Ramakrishna says it's like a rocket going off in your chest. Just a little. And in Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vijnanananda sees that his spinal column had become like a thick rope with the spiritual energy rushing up and down. These kind of pure bodies can withstand the spiritual force. Not only that, we are interested in, oh, my Kundalini is awakened. So what are you going to do now? I'm going to teach everybody. Go ahead. An avatar comes to awaken the world Kundalini, the cosmic Kundalini. Swami Shivananda Mahapurush Maharaj says, he, through his intense spiritual disciplines, has awakened the cosmic, coiled up, sleeping power. So you all coming here, listening to Vedanta, is because he did that work for you. And that's why he comes for the whole humanity. So how does he do? This is one of the ways. Awakens this coiled up cosmic power. Their bodies, of course, let's not go into, because again I said the idea of material itself is kind of a misnomer. But the scriptures say that it's just pure sattva, and that's what gives that body the power to withstand this giant upsurge of energy. Otherwise the body will just break. So she saw those signs there in him. It has to be. And then she gets a concourse of pandits, and then they authenticate it according to the scriptures, etc. That's another story for another time. If Diane invites me again. There.
Yay!
Same time next year, Swami.
Okay, there. Another thing, we spoke about a collective awakening that takes place in the minds of the world. So we look at Sri Ramakrishna and he says this is the high state of yoga. Yeah, okay, fine with it. We read about his life. Somehow it doesn't strike us that he was stationed on the threshold between the absolute and the relative. He says, saying thrice he was told by the Divine Mother, stay in Bhava Mukha. That is, stay on the threshold. Between this side he can experience the absolute here, and this side, the relative, he is identified with the cosmic mind, the cosmos. You know what happens when you identify yourself with the cosmos? Like you identify yourself with the body. If I tell you, no, you should not identify yourself with the body. You should identify yourself with this Atman inside. The body is the Atman, you will say. No. It belongs to you. You'll say, this is me. And that is how Sri Ramakrishna identified himself with the totality. And like you are the master of your body. There's an itch here. Yeah. I'm in charge here. So at that stage, he is God. Because he thinks the whole cosmos is his body. Who think you and me can say that? Nah. So one side, he can experience, it does experience the absolute. In a way of speaking, standing on the threshold or something. There's a kind of there's a stage where the reality appears as it were to take a form and appear as his relative. So that avatar. So all his life, his mature life, after he had perfected himself in the disciplines, he was commanded by the divine knowledge, stay in Bhavamukha. At that stage, the person is God. So what you're looking at is God. But it doesn't look like. Yeah. Don't get fooled with this. Peel back the layers and layers. How do you do that? By spiritual disciplines. And you'll be surprised to find, oh, this thing is just a kind of a doorway. You've entered into deeper and deeper dimensions of that. And where do you pop out? Like Alice in Wonderland? Something like that. Come out of it. This is the road. So, an avatar becomes the path and the goal. Now, again, we must understand, when does an avatar come? Why? For thousands of years at time, or centuries, we have been praying. Oh God, where are you? Can't you see all these things going on there? People are starving, people are dying, people are this, people are that, and see, look at my problems, and we've been praying and praying and praying and praying. And we think there's no God, because I've been praying and I've got no answers. Sometimes you get an answer. You get a kind of a lollipop. Take a little. And you start, yeah, there's a God. And you don't get that, there's no God. But every prayer that has gone out through the human heart, in misery, in distress, in hopelessness, in religious fervor, whatever, is the time these prayers bring down an avatar. So keep on praying. More and more. So an avatar is an answer to all our prayers. Everyone. So people say, when is Sri Ramakrishna going to come again? Keep on praying. Harder. And get some more people around you. Pray. So, and the collective prayers have been answered by an avatar. That's nice to know, at least. It's not been a useless enterprise. And oh, this religion and this and that. These people keep on talking about religion. Who authenticates? Like we say, wherever there's any claim, run away. Whenever there's a question of money or something, run away. A senior Swami was saying, a devotee comes to him and says, oh, I've paid $5,000 to levitate. Oh. And what do? Oh, then he describes how he levitates. Oh, you paid 5,000 to behave like a frog? Wherever there's money involved, claims involved, that's no authentication. Authentication is done only in the states of yoga. Yes. Like I just mentioned that this awareness will not get you anywhere. It might get you some cheeseburgers or hamburgers and Coke, etc. Yeah. I'm kidding. This is the same thing that you need to transform. This is the instrument. But at this level, it's not going to be of much. It needs a lot of spiritual practices. A lot? Yeah, you push. Sri Ramakrishna says, you take one step towards God, God takes 10 steps towards you. So you need to take that little trouble, slight effort. But authentication is done only in the higher states of yoga. As your consciousness keeps on expanding. What? Expanding? Yes. Consciousness expands. There's so many levels of consciousness. The yoga scriptures itself has enumerated just 8 principal ones. They're called samadhis. But there are the intra-samadhis. Oh my God, it keeps on expanding, becoming super fine, and it's an unbelievable journey. Only on the higher levels can you authenticate. Yes, this is God. In the sense of, yes, this is that infinite appearing through the prism of time, space, and causation. Sri Ramakrishna says, he was Rama and who was Krishna is now come as Ramakrishna. But not in your Vedantic sense, tells Swamiji. Vedanta, because they say, as if he is born. Yeah. When you come to this stage, when the world is as if, then you can come to that stage. An avatar, like he says, I have come as Rama and Krishna. M says, I see that Chaitanya and Christ are there. You are Chaitanya and Christ. And Sri Ramakrishna says, yes, yes, smiles. Swami Abhedananda, who lived and worked here in the US for 25 years, principally in New York. And he was, head of the Vedanta Society of New York. What a great tradition you all have, you know. Sometimes we feel jealous. We guys on there, they got the best of it. So, he had a vision of all the gods and the goddesses and all the past prophets and avatars, one by one merging into him. And he comes running to where Sri Ramakrishna was in his temple garden, Dakshineshwar, saying, this is what I've seen. Yeah, you've had a vision of Vaikuntha, the highest heaven. After this, you will not see any forms. To go to the formless, sorry to disappoint you all, you have to go to the forms. You know why? Because you think you have a form. When you think I have no form, then you can go to the formless. People come and say, but there's Swami, there's a waking state, dream state, there's all forms. You're talking about forms. States. Think of that. So, and that's what actually happened. Swami Abhidananda and his Avatar Stotra, his hymn on the avatars, enumerates some of the glimpses that he had. One by one, all the avatars, gods and goddesses emerging. That's the reason why I started with the salutation of he is the embodiment of all gods and goddesses. Like he said, even in the Bhagavad Gita, say, Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva. The great sages like Asita and Deval have declared you to be God. And you yourself are telling me this now, Arjuna says. So God himself. But it doesn't tell it to everybody at that time. Those who can receive it. I think it's in the Bible. Those who can receive it. But afterwards, when we read about it, this is what is meant for us. Telling. An avatar also will reveal herself or himself, or itself rather, through visions and dreams. You will have that very common. It's extremely common. Sometimes you hear a mantra, you see a mantra, you get a vision. It's all, even here, I forget this place in New Jersey where Swami Saradananda goes, and then a woman was there, a lady, and then she said, when I was young, I saw this. She saw a picture of Sri Ramakrishna. Where did you get it? I saw this. So it is quite common. So that is also another indication. Okay. The parents are venerated and the birthplace becomes sacred, etc. These are the other things that do occur. As he's saying, every time an avatar comes, he comes to make things easy. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's okay. I'll just one point and say. So we say, oh, he has, or he or she, it has descended. Avatarana. And now it's an English word, avatar. Everybody is now. The word itself is making billions of dollars now. So, descends. From where? Oh, from heaven. All the mythologies, they talk about, the time for God to be born and this and that and all that. Those are for the kindergarten. Yeah. But really, God descends from, where? Hold your breath. From your own hearts. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe arjunatist. From here, descends from here, goes back here. So now you know the secret, the mystery. Where? to understand oneself, people ask me, Swami, I've read this book, who am I? I said, yes. Read it more deeply. But please don't go around and ask, who am I, who am I? They might take you to a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't go around and say, who am I, who am I? Well, he needs a shrink. Then, now what is this whole thing? It's impossible for you to know who you are. But you can know it through an avatar. That's the easy way. If you know an avatar, you know yourself. You embody an avatar. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Swamiji, what does it mean to have Kundalini of the universe?
Kundalini.
And to raise that Kundalini.
It's like each one of us are sleeping giants, as it were, sleeping spiritual giants. The awakening of Kundalini is raising your consciousness from the body to the spiritual levels. Okay? And all this thing is in potential form. You are a potential God. And when the entirety, the universe, if everything is there within you, in Vedanta it's very clear, the microcosm and the macrocosm vibrate on the same key. It reflects. So what is in you has to be in the universe. That is what Sri Ramakrishna. Swami Vivekananda's very famous, you can say, experience when he was in the Himalayas near Almora, Kakarighat, saying, I have seen the universe in an atom. Yeah, the microcosm and macrocosm are built on the same plan. So if it is there in you, which the scriptures say it's there, it's there. So Sri Ramakrishna has come to awaken that. He came and has awakened it. But we don't see anything. Yeah, there are certain things you don't see, bacteria and viruses. That doesn't mean they don't exist. The world is not so simple as it seems. It's not. It's a very complex world. I say the world in the sense of existence. Existence is very complex. The mind itself is very complex. So there are many factors and things, when they awaken, they work in unseen realms. And only later on you'll find a kind of a manifestations on this plane of existence. So there is, Sri Ramakrishna has done that work for us. And I believe that we are all here because of that spiritual disciplines that he undertook, awakened it.
May I go? Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you so much. That was excellent. And it reminds me that the right speech or the right talk comes at exactly the right time. So my name is Prem Krishnamurthy, and I have a couple of questions. The first is that you mentioned, and I speak here of the word choice. You said that the avatar will come and dominate politics, will dominate, the word dominate was
Not
used.
Not politics.
Or the arts, let's say. And I want to question the use of the word dominance. And that comes to my second question. Because you mentioned something very powerful and important that you mentioned is the idea that the avatar and the soul evolves itself. It's my understanding that has come in the last year or so that, in fact, existence itself is evolving. And that one of the ways in which it is evolving over these billion years is that through its own loneliness, it has become a thing that is narcissistic and desires dominance. That the way in which our own culture is focused on dominance is a reflection of what happens in existence. But is my understanding that, in fact, at some point, existence itself, like the way that Brahma, we know that all of existence is Brahma opens his eyes and then he closes his eyes. That in the same way that humankind or a single person understands that they too will die, then they relax. And they say, why should I dominate? In fact, I don't need power. I only need to be. So this is my question to you. What do you think of this?
If I comment on this, but I'll just try to use clarify the word I use as dominance. Dominance not in the sense of power as you think it is. Dominance in the sense they become relevant in every form of art. Now, art and sciences, they are the finest, you can say, sentiments of the human mind. You know? It's trying to grasp the ungraspable. Art, and music, dance, drama. So I use the word dominance in this sense that they seek and they become the center of that search. They're trying to grasp that ungraspable. It is intuited very faintly in highly creative minds. You will see that there's a kind of a intuitive knowledge that somewhere you also know. You're talking about death. You know that, yeah, I'm going to survive. This idea of immortality, it comes that intuition, the intuitive knowledge comes out in the sense of that idea of immortality. So it is not completely unknown. The reality is not completely unknown. Reality can never be narcissistic, because just because we use the word self does not mean the self. No. The word self itself is essay, or in the German philosophers, they translated the word Atman as a self, and then it's self.
Which philosopher?
German philosophers itself, when they, you see, Swami Tathagatananda wrote a book, Journey of the Upanishads to the West. The Upanishads were first translated into Persian by a prince called Darashikoh. That Persian translation that was in the 14th, 15th century was translated into Latin. And Latin was the language or the lingua franca of the academics, the world. That was then read. And then that was translated into German and French and English, etc. So how do you translate the word Atman? It's such a rich word. So this idea of self, and it has nothing to do with narcissism. So death, narcissism and all, it's diametrically opposite to what I'm trying to say, trying to present. That this idea that every scripture is hollow without the presence of an incarnation. Take for instance, just for instance, arguments. Though Buddhism, they say, nah, there's all that, we don't believe in all these incarnations and all. You take Buddha out of Buddhism, see what happens. Oh, you'll have a philosophy, it's dry. And apart from the thinking that Buddhism is just non-ritualistic, you go to any Buddhistic temple and you'll see how many rituals are there. They have beaten us also hollow. You take Christ out of Christianity, see what happens. In that sense, I had said, you take this out. So I'm not talking about dominance and power and this and that, dominate politics. So I'm not interested in that. Swami Vivekananda says, God and truth are my only politics. All else is bosh, trash. So these are more profound things than your perception of idea of dominance, etc. So it is, I would say, like relevant. I think that could be a more appropriate word. So everything becomes relevant when you add the word or the avatar is there inside. Okay. And Brahma opening and closing his eyes, that's a cyclic nature of, it's just one day,
Exactly. One day.
And he'll open his eyes again. So, and then he's going to live for about 100 years, 365. But these are divine years, and they take millions and billions of years. So you have plenty of time. Yeah. So, and this is one of the things that we are all going towards liberation. Every one of us. There are some who are in a hurry. There are some who have taken a crooked path or whatever. But everyone is eligible. There's no eternal damnation. Sorry, there's no eternal heaven also. So everyone. That should tell you like, hey, this is something which I am heir to. My immortality, which I have a kind of a glimpse. So all these, even science. What is science today? Science is becoming a science of consciousness. The physicists are trying to get in. Sarvapriyananda was telling me, we had a big neurology, and I said, they have forgotten their own neurology now. Now they are trying to find consciousness. Physicists, biologists and psychologists, what is this consciousness business? It has to be. That is religion. Swami Vivekananda says, science is a search of truth in the external world. Religion is the search of truth in the internal world. And science and religion are not diametrically opposed to each other. And he wanted these great two traditions to, and to cap it off, America, the US, is the ground. So he lays out, there's two branches of the Aryan family. One became the Greeks and the Romans, etc., Western civilization. The one became the Eastern civilization. The two brothers separated. And now this age is the meeting, not in their original homeland, but here. So this land has got this upsurge, and it's going to be the launching pad of the new religion. Whether you call it Vedanta, we're not interested in, we are Vedanta. What is Vedanta? What is that? There will be a search for these two mighty streams of thought. One studying the external world, one studying the internal world. And there is, in nature, there is no internal and external. They will all come. So here you are. Be happy and glad. I bring tidings to you. A lot of people don't realize why this history has selected this. Why did Swami Vivekananda give his best years of his public life here? When I was young, I used to wonder, what's that? Look at those people, they won't even understand Vedanta. but they are going to understand Vedanta through science. And that is a trend. He could see it, and then when I caught it, wow, this is what it is. It's no surprise that you have these seminars and conferences on consciousness and scientists, and they come and then they bring Swami Sarvapriyananda also. What's this? That was anathema. Now it's accepted. So we have a great future, and the future is here. I hope I answered some of your questions.
Part of it. I'll come afterwards.
Too bad.
So Swamiji, I just wanted to thank you. I think I speak for the whole audience here that I think there's a lifetime of wisdom in the talk you gave today. I wanted to just build on something you said about how an avatar is a summation of everything that comes before them, but there's also something new. And I especially wanted to ask you to extend your point about Buddhism, because I have some of these conversations about Gautama Buddha with some of my Buddhist friends. And I think Swami Vivekananda said that Buddha basically humanized the Upanishadic philosophy. But there's also a line that says, no, he was a radical rupture of some kind. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts on how that connects with that idea of summation versus newness.
He practiced yoga. He studied the Sankhya philosophy. His first teachers are all Sankhya yogins. He practiced meditation according to these Sankhya teachers. And then at one point of time, he broke the bonds of those very philosophers and philosophies, and went out to search on his own. Principally one thing: how to decrease human suffering. And every avatar does that. They understand suffering intensely. Most of our times, we are deadened to our own sufferings. But life, this beautiful life that we have, is a struggle. You may not be conscious, but there's a huge struggle that's going on there within you. If you were aware, you would go crazy. There's a huge struggle going on there. There's a struggle going on in the mind. So, an avatar, as quoted Jesus, that they come to fulfill, not to destroy. They will be a summation of that age and times. Everything that has come. So you cannot have, even you are a summation of your entire life or your family life or this, that. So each one of us, even an avatar, comes as a summation of the past. We have the infinite past stacked on us. We don't see those things. So we are the new kid in town, we are newbies, we're this, that. Hey, we are just a summation, a culmination of all that. Now what do? There are certain things that it's not possible for you to accomplish in one brief lifetime or in a few years. So everything is compressed by an avatar and presented to you. Here it is. This is your summation of your life. My summation of my life, that is avatar, was the whole humanity. So the mystery still remains, though I try to explain it as much as possible. But then, if you can solve that mystery, you've solved this mystery. And it cannot be solved in this ordinary conscious mind. Swami Vivekananda says, consciousness is just a thin film on the ocean of subconsciousness. When I come there, that's Atlantic. What do you mean that's Atlantic? You know how big is the Atlantic? No, that's Atlantic. You see one part and say, is that? No. Hey, there's a huge Atlantic Ocean. So we see consciousness here enmeshed in the brain and in the cells and this and that. Consciousness. You have not seen the whole. And so a thin film, he says, between the ocean of subconsciousness and heights of supergod. So from the crest of the waves to the blue sky is something called the super mind or the higher mind. We have that within us. That is the Kundalini. It's sleeping. So this higher mind or the super mind is there. It has to be awakened. You can know God only when your mind crosses this conscious layer and enters into. So every time you see Superman and all these, it's actually, it is kind of somewhere deep down, we are capable of this. That is reflecting us, or we are reflecting that. We know that we cannot articulate it correctly, but we can do it through art and music or all these things. So it's a summation. Your life itself, you are here, it's a summation of your entire week. Everything is rolled into this. So if you can take a kind of a bird's eye view of certain things and certain places, you'll say, oh wow, I'm not done bad here, coming up here.
Namaste, Swamiji. Here, Swamiji. Yeah. So you referenced Avatara as Chidghanakaya, but that reminded me of Swami Pitamarananda, who recently passed away. He used to say that Avatara is God without becoming a man, appearing in man's body. So with that, right, I think Prem, he stepped away. I was countering his point. So without becoming a man means devoid of Shadripus. Right? So there is no Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Then there is no question of dominance and narcissism or anything else, right? So that explains simply what an avatara is, as you're explaining.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of, no offense. Everybody is entitled to their opinions. But yes, of course, when Sri Ramakrishna himself, when he was in the so-called physical body, his body used to morph. How is that possible? Into gods and goddesses or something like that, and sometimes they used to appear so huge and tall. And is that possible? Yes, even your body can morph. Now you're all here. Suppose in the evening you have a road rage. See what happens to you. Your body is going to morph a little, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Or your spouse says something, see what happens. All fire and fury. That mask has slipped. So that I would like to have that divine nature come out. So that is the state of bhavas where Gopal's mother, Gopaler Ma, she used to see that child Krishna sitting down on her shoulder, sitting on her lap, and pulling at her hair, pulling at her beads, bathing with her, eating with her. What's this? This is not a normal state of consciousness. Her body itself had morphed into these things. It's a tremendous state. So, as you said that the Shankaracharya explains it, it's an appearance comes to us. So, but we need to have a starting point. He used to himself say, think of this. That is, think of this place. It'll be.
We're going to put an end to it at this point then, Swamiji. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was wonderful. And we have really missed you. So we will be in touch for another visit next year?
Sure.
Good.
Why not?
Thank you.